Hello, everyone. This is Matthew Brand. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for tuning in. I made a video earlier as talking about why the left lost so much support. So now I want to talk about why the right lost so much support. So the right, it lost support over a while. I'm going to use this like little example. When my son, he's young, he likes candy. And if I keep giving him candy, his teeth are going to rot out. But he doesn't know that. So he takes as much candy as possible. Well, so I don't give him candy. But my parents, oh well, he gets a little more suckers or whatever kind of candy over there from my parents or my grandparents or whatever. His grandparents on his mother's side, they'll load his ass up with candy sometimes, and I don't. So dad is mean, and grandparents are awesome. Eventually, as we get older, sometimes we realize uh, that candy's bad for us. We don't need candy as much. We don't like candy as much. We've developed better taste buds. But at the time, when we love candy, oh, grandma was the one who gave it to us. So even though she's the one who rotted out our teeth, we still have this huge fondness for all the candy grandma used to give us. That's kind of what the situation with Democrats are. It's not necessarily that everything they did was bad. For example, gay marriage could be, pro or con depending on your religious reasons or whatever. I'm completely fine with it. I don't really care. Abortion, same thing. It depends on where your morals lie when it comes to that. So when you have those situations, that's different. But certain things like welfare, giving unions more money, and I'm not anti-union necessarily, but when you cash, you sign a check your ass can't cash. Basically, is that's bad all around. It doesn't matter what the reason is, whether you're union, Republican, Democrat, whatever. You can't sign checks your ass can't cash, and they did that, and that was kind of like the not cashing it. That's like the rotten teeth part of it, right? Um, the welfare, right? For example, you don't put there's not enough limits on it, so because there's no limit and it just keeps going and going and going, people get to the like, okay, so now we have so much debt we can't really afford it. That's a real big reason why, like, remember, people, Obamacare didn't help a lot of people that I know personally don't really like Obamacare. I don't really know anybody, Republican or Democrat, in my life who liked Obamacare. But it was in my opinion, maybe crappy solution to a big problem, which is welfare. Sorry, Medicaid care or Medicaid or whatever. We can't afford it as a country. Like it is sucking us so dry that we don't know how to address it. So that's why everybody keeps trying to handle that medical issue, even though the people who are actually on it didn't feel the issue. The real issue was there were people who were young and getting right out of college or whatever, or getting right out of high school, and they were going bankrupt because one broken leg screwed the whole thing up. But anyway, Republicans, they lost people because of that, right? The Democrats treating people to stuff that might be bad for them in the long run. They're okay with that kind of concept. I think it was Malcolm X who first said it was like the Democrats are like the fox. You know, they're both bad, but the fox likes to play with you and trick you later. Where the or yeah, the fox likes to trick you later. With a wolf, he doesn't always get full because he attacks you straight on. So that's one thing. Democrats, I just say they're not that honest a lot of times too. They do that finger pointing stuff. Everybody knows that if they're losing a point, they'll rile up a crowd. I hate that crap. I hate that crap. Not saying I'm Republican. I'm just saying I hate when someone is losing an argument, so they yell over the other person or they rile up a crowd. That's like any political speaker that's losing nowadays. That's all they do, and I think it's biting them in the butt now. But back then, like when we first started, it was easy to do that because there were a lot of very bigoted Republicans, not necessarily politicians. That's a difference. There probably are a lot of bigoted Republican politicians. I'm not saying there aren't. There's probably also a lot of bigoted Democratic politicians, but the bigoted Republicans are usually easier to point out, especially at during that time phrase when Republicans were losing a lot of support. and the third one being the laws that really, religion. I'm just going to say that religion. There's a lot of laws that Republicans didn't want to pass because their big support base is religion. And I think they took it a little too far when they tried to isolate their group to straight white Christian people. They isolated their main base to that. Now they're a little more open, but you could clearly see whenever you watch support like political speaker, it didn't have to be a politician. Let me be clear about this. Not necessarily politicians, but political speakers and supporters of Republican like Fox 2 News or whatever often would say some very idiotic, bigoted stuff. And like I said, you remember how I said I don't like people who they're losing a point, so they yell over the other person or attack or point fingers. Republicans were a lot bigger on that then than they are now. Now they're playing more of the underdog. Where back, like if you watch Bill O'Reilly or something when George Bush was president or whatever, you did have a lot of that. Now, some people be like, oh, well, he never lied. I'm not saying he did or he didn't. I'll say he misconstrues some stuff or he forces people into certain answers. I hate that too. Like if somebody has an explanation, you give them only the answer of yes or no. To me it sounds like okay, you lose the argument if they explain that. So by default, I'm not going to say you lost the argument by default, but you just don't. A lot of times, people don't want to open the case up to them being wrong. That doesn't help you gain support. So those are the three things Republicans did. Now, to me, it's going in the opposite direction, except for that little like that candy example I was given. I don't think too many Republicans are necessarily giving out the silly candy. I think that's actually exclusively a very left wing thing to do. By candy, I mean like trying to pass laws that aren't good for people. It's not helping people. Republicans, I'm not saying they don't do that. I'm just saying that they try and trick people into believing like, oh yeah, I'm getting this stuff, right? This free stuff, but in the long run, it's hurting everybody, including yourself. So that is why Republicans lost a lot of support. If you have any opinions or disagreements, please leave them in the comments. Let me know. At the moment, nobody's really watching my channel, but who knows? Maybe it'll catch someone's eye. All right, peace.